All right, guys, we're back here. BullRing Banter podcast. All about the Ararat BullRing. Man, I sound funny today. My voice sounds sick. Anyways, I'm your host, Langley Austin, promoter of the Ararat BullRing. Also joined by my wife, head scorer, race director. We gave her a few extra jobs Saturday. Had a few people not there, so
don't tell people I'm the head scorer. They'll have somebody to come find now.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, you definitely had it all jacked up Saturday. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Boy, we had a problem with electronics in general Saturday, but we'll get into that here in a second. But anyways, this is episode 11 of the BullRing Banter podcast. This is following up the Fan Appreciation Night this past weekend, June the 7th. We're rolling right along with the season. I mean, we're three races in now.
Man, that last Saturday was a hell of a night of racing. If you missed it,
it was an interesting night in general. The tower was chaotic, and
as long as you weren't in the tower, everything else looked amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, this episode, as always, brought to you by Buffalo Mountain Motorsports, and that's not just a race team. That's a car dealer, power sports, ATV, side-by-sides, dirt bikes, accessories, and that is also the late model division sponsor of the Buffalo Mountain Motorsports late models, and boy, they were exciting this past weekend. Also brought to you by TC Construction, and that's not your average construction company. They play in the cellular arena. They put up cell towers and work on them and different stuff. They're the title sponsor of the modified division, and the old TC Construction Modifieds stood up this past weekend. Had a few more cars than they've been having, and looked good out there. So
talking about TC Construction doing cellular towers. Wonder if we could get old trade out and get some cell service there. With some internet. While we have Spectrum internet in the tower, everybody else that's there has no service whatsoever.
It's hit or miss. There's stuff everywhere. Yeah, maybe they could construct us a tower and find like some extenders or something to put on it over there. Jesus, it would be certainly useful for everybody. But also sponsored this show sponsored by Andrews Mowing and Landscaping, and those guys helped us a ton before the season started, getting things ready, getting the track layout right. And boy, we are right with the track layout now, I feel like. But be sure to support all those sponsors if you can. Buffalo Mountain Motorsports got a lot of things to sell. TC Construction, I don't know that you can buy anything from them, but at least tell them, thank you. Tell Travis Covey thank you there. And Andrew Langford, one of our late model drivers, be sure to tell him thank you for all the help there at the track with Andrews Mowing and Landscaping. And Rob Favors, Buffalo Mountain Motorsports, I didn't want to leave him out, even though I said, you could actually go over there and, spend some money with him, buy a dirt bike or whatever.
He actually races in two of our divisions, our late models and our Crown Vics.
And according to me, he pulled off the win in the Crown Vic division. When the race was over with, I told this on Pit Chatter podcast the other night, but the race is over with. These guys about made me look bad because I didn't see the last couple laps of the race. I got torn off in another direction, and Rob had been dominating the Crown Vic race up to that point. I mean, Brad Holt come up here to challenge him and then broke. And then Justin Pruitt got by him there at the end. Good thing I asked old Doc Love who had won the race, because I said Rob Favor. He said, yeah. He said, no, oh, no.
No, it wasn't. So they put on a heck of a battle. And, Justin Pruitt has won. He won the first one. Yeah, we got the second one in it. And Justin Pruitt and Rob Favor's car look similar.
No, they do look similar.
So if you were just glancing...
And so does Brett Curry's, because Doc's up there, he's announcing he thinks that they're battling for the lead. And I'm like, hey, man, that car looks exactly like, but it ain't.
And you was talking about Brad Holt in the 88. I think he put on Facebook his car just kept shutting off.
Yeah.
He's got like the worst luck with his Crown Vic. Every week it's something different.
Yep, seems to be for sure. But before we dive into all the racing stuff, the actual on track, and we're not here. This podcast is more about the background of the racetrack and what's going on and how bad we can screw stuff up, and how we're going to try to fix it and how we screw it up the next time, even after we fix it. So, but Saturday was an interesting day because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even order any trophies going into the weekend because I was like,
it's gonna rain.
We're raining out. There ain't no chance. I'd done talked to some people. I had been hearing that Natural Bridge was going to cancel. I'd been hearing that With was going to cancel, and I was like, well, that leaves us in either a really good spot or it leaves us over there to get soaked. And we did not get soaked. We got a little sprinkle about the time I got there. Saturday right before noon. And then the rest of the day was just humid. Clothes sticking to you, nasty.
Oh my gosh, I could not breathe all day Saturday. It was so hot, and it seems like every building we have at the racetrack has no air moving whatsoever.
Yeah, that's one thing that old Gary Nestor did not anticipate was needing some air conditioning or
he said if he had to be
any
hot,
air whatsoever. Jesus, man.
He said it more than once. If he had to be hot, so did they.
Yeah, well, he's not wrong. So, but yeah, rain, pretty much dominated the weekend. I watched the On the Backstretch podcast last night, or I listened to it. I didn't get to watch it.
I actually missed it this week. I'm gonna have to go back.
Well, I didn't
listen.
watch it live. I went back and listened to it last night. But they had Adam Favors on. He talking about his win at Princeton Friday night, and good podcast to check out. Be sure to check them out on Facebook or YouTube. But
funny group of dudes.
They didn't have much to talk about because, what were they?
Nobody raced.
Well, we raced, and they weren't there, so they didn't know a whole lot about what we did. Cambridge knew a little bit there.
I should have been a guest host.
Yeah,
I could have given a lot of insight.
But anyways, the rain kind of dominated the weekend, but it did not dominate us. Luckily, Mother Nature, gave us a little reprieve there, and we had a packed infield. I think 66 or 67 cars for the night. That was 18 late models, 18 stock 4s, 14 or 15 modifieds. 7 Pro 4s, which that class is struggling a little bit car count wise, which I knew it was going to because I've watched races there in the past, and I've seen they'll have Pro 4s and Super Stock 4 and whatever other Extreme 4 or whatever, and they'd have 3 or 4 in each. So I knew this class had the potential to struggle, but it also had the potential to do really good the way we structured the rules. We ain't got to the really good part, but we're in the struggle, and hopefully we'll get that division. We need to get them up above 10 cars. The goal is to have double digits in every division. Crown Vics are at 9, brand new division, and they're at 9. So that tells you a lot about that. Really
speaking
proud
of the infield being packed, it was. Oh my gosh, every car that would come in, I would get a little more scared. Where are we going to put them? Gary Mabe comes in. It couldn't have been no more than 30 minutes.
Long ass hauler, too.
No more than 30 minutes before the driver's meeting. And I think his hauler's as old as he is. I really do. It's a humongous old trailer.
Yeah.
And he goes...
I don't think the trailer's old, but yeah.
He goes, so where do you want me to park at? I'm like... I don't really know that we have anywhere to park yet. I said, you see that guy in that yellow shirt? Go up there and talk to him.
Yeah.
I think we finally squeezed him in somewhere.
Yeah, we put him up by the scales. He was parked beside my enclosed right where we had the driver's meeting.
Well, it's a good place for him. Speaking of Gary Mabe, and I'm pulling a you getting off subject.
Yeah, here's squirrel.
I was on Facebook the other day, and I was looking, and they had this place called Rainbow Speedway that used to run back in the day.
Yeah.
And the winner of one of their races was Gary Mabe.
Yeah.
The year was 1976.
Yeah.
Dude's been racing 150 years.
Hey, but it's also he's at every race.
He is.
Huge supporter. Fast, too. He's fast every race.
He is very
fast.
fast.
I believe they call him the Gut Rocket. I don't know. I got to figure out what that's all about because I have no idea. I've seen that
I'll ask
somewhere.
him next time I see him.
But anyways, good supporter of the track. He's had crap luck.
Oh, yeah.
Normally it's with Andrew Langford, them two, bouncing off each other, but they didn't get near each other
and
this
he got
week,
disqualified first race.
Yeah, for getting out of his car. Yeah, all good. But anyways, where was I, since you wanted to interrupt me with...
Oh, you were talking about the packed infield.
Everything else, yeah. Yep, good crowd again. Good crowd. Good infield. I don't know where we'll put many more cars. It's a good thing we got the Pro 4s are off this next race. Renegade Sportsmans are on, so that'll kind of replace that. And then we got the mini late models coming in. I have no idea where we're going to park all these guys, but we'll
the mini
figure it
late
out.
models are coming next race.
Yeah, they'll be there June 21st. So, and the guy thinks there's going to be 13 of them. So, hopefully they have small haulers.
Hopefully they have mini haulers too.
Yeah. I need the micro machines, so I can find somewhere to park. But anyways, before we get off on the next race, man, we dodged all the rain. Got the races in. Rained right after the checkered flag. I started laughing. I had pulled down in the bottom, and then I pulled right back up top, and I was like, "Is that rain?" Yep, that was rain.
It didn't rain. It poured.
Yeah, it well, for a little bit. It wasn't that bad. You get carried away. You think 13 drops is pour down. So
no, I don't.
But it did rain pretty good afterwards. But hey, we got the show in. We were very blessed to have got the show in there. But I can tell you one thing we were not blessed on, and that was our electronics. I don't know what in the heck was going on, but the electronics were all over the map. The radios.
The first week we make raceceiver mandatory.
Yeah.
We ain't got a radio to even talk to them on. None of our radios are working.
Oh, God. Yeah. Hey, but before you go any further than that, okay? Listen, we had a bump in the road right there with the radios. We couldn't use raceceiver. But you know what? The racers bailed us out 1,000% right there. And speaking of bailing us out, Jimmy Watson and those
Lisa
guys,
Walker.
Lisa, yeah, they bailed us out. Went and grabbed radios that they had that are on the same frequency. I think they use them for their business. Awesome. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how much I appreciate them. And I keep saying this. Everybody down there is great. Because you know what? They promoted the track previous to us, 3 years ago. They could be complete and total buttholes about everything and not support us and not help us. But they're there every race, and they've done everything we've asked. We borrowed, stuff from them.
Put the loop.
They put the loop in.
They brought their iDeck, the scoring, to make sure it worked.
Yep.
They brought radios.
Yep.
Brought the water truck.
Fixed the water truck.
Fixed the water truck.
I mean, they have been
hands
awesome,
down,
man.
Incredible
awesome.
people.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that entire family. Dylan Watson, he tells me every week what a crappy track it is, but he's mostly joking.
Well, it's Dylan. What do you expect? I got my first good dose of Dylan this weekend.
He's fun. He's got a great personality.
He really does.
Really appreciate those guys. They bailed us out by the time we got to the features. We had the radios, but I'm gonna tell you, the drivers and the teams did a great job of staying on point and doing what they needed to do. And I know, I had a couple of them tell me, say, hey, we can't really see the flagmen, so, from the way their cars are built and stuff. So it isn't the most perfect scenario. Having raceceiver working is extremely important, and it's extremely important to us, and we thought we had it covered. I mean, even Jason Walsh tested one of the radios last week, worked just fine. You know what I mean?
We were golden.
He's like, oh, yeah, you got all these. This will be perfect. You're good.
Until we got there.
Yeah, they just they went haywire. Don't know exactly what it was. I'm gonna continue working on them, but in the meantime, I've ordered 2 radios. They should be here Tuesday, so we'll be set up and ready to go with
Thank
2 brand new,
God.
well, not brand new, but refurbished radios with brand new batteries, and we should be good to go on that. Speaking of electronics, though, it wasn't just that. So
Then scoring.
Yeah, well, the scoring, and I think we figured out what happened there. I think we had plugged in the radio, so when they came in, scoring kind of got off.
Jumbled.
We were just putting
Plugging
things everywhere. We're plugged all the radios in right up beside of the decoder for the transponders, and I think the radio frequency was messing with it.
We had people in places, people leading the race.
If you looked at scoring, it was all over the place, but in the back end of the system, she was able to keep up with it, and I seen her over there handwriting just to make sure that she knew exactly where everybody was.
I got a good old dose of hand scoring.
Yeah, it was all good though, and then beyond that, so as the night goes on, man, all of a sudden the computer screen goes out. And then it comes back on, and then the computer screen goes out. And then we're trying to figure out, well, we got these radios plugged up. What are we doing?
It's surging.
It turned out it was we figured it out the other day.
And my printer was sparking. It was sparking every time I hooked it to my... I've never seen a printer spark before.
No, it wasn't even the electric cable.
No,
it was the printer cable
USB
itself.
to the printer, and I mean, it was sparking.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? It's got to be the electric.
It can't
I'm like,
be that.
Yeah, watch.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to see it, but I took y'all's word for it there. And but that was surging the power out, so everything on there would go out when that happened. So we were dealing with that, and we couldn't figure out exactly what that was all night.
And I literally had to hand write the late model results for payout. Didn't have a printout of them.
It was wild, but man, we made the most of it, and mostly because the racers, man. Anytime you got a problem, I'm gonna tell you what, man, it's the best group of racers I've ever been involved with, and maybe it's just an asphalt versus dirt thing, because I'm gonna tell you, these guys are fantastic, and yes, they have their moments, they're passionate, they're times when they're mad about something or we do something wrong, and we're not going to be perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. I mean, I don't care. I thought we was going to be golden with the receivers this week, and we look like a bunch of jackasses. So we're never going to be perfect, but we're trying, and you guys are doing a great job of making us look like we know what we're doing.
I just wanted to scream and I got to the tower late. I was speaking of our chaotic Saturday.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention that we were 2 main people down.
Yeah. The primary person at pit window sign in and the primary person that we're using up top for the grandstands both had issues with older family members and weren't able to make it to the track. So, Lord.
So I'm down at pit gate a little longer than I should have been. Made the mistake and went to the driver's meeting. By the time I get to the tower, I'm like, okay, all the radios work. Scoring is fantastic.
It had been flawless.
Yes, flawless.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. It had been absolutely flawless.
And everything I touched was wrong. I just wanted to scream. I'm like, what is going on?
And to make things worse, I never have a radio. And so I felt like I had to jump in and try to help, which I did help a lot when I was down there, letting people know, they're letting the racers know, hey, you're going to have to, receivers out. We're working on getting it back. You know what I mean?
We never want Langley to have a radio.
Yeah. Well,
never.
I tell people all the time, don't give me a radio. I lose my mind, okay? Because I think, if I say it, you should be doing it, okay?
Oh, you're like a madman. You'll say, hey, can you do this? And get your ass moving. Get to going. I mean, you don't even give them time to process it in their mind.
Well, they should have heard it and got on it. I mean, I don't know what to say.
We don't want Langley to have radios ever.
And the bad thing about it is if you don't give me a radio, I'm just cool, calm, collected, and riding around on my golf cart, and we're good. You know what I mean?
There was one point Saturday night he was like, do you want me to talk to the racers? I said, absolutely not. No.
But now, to my credit, okay, I got to pat myself on the back since you won't. When we got to the late model race, I took over with the officials. You handled, raceceiver, talking to the racers, and boy, that was smooth. I mean, well, not the on track, because those guys, they like to have a caution every chance they get.
One lap at a time.
And the bad thing about it is, and I'll, broach the subject too. The bad thing about it is we're trying to wait as long as we can to throw each caution. We're not trying to put you in harm's way, but we're trying to wait as long as we can to throw each caution, because if not, we'd still be there running this race.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, so, but yeah, and that's the thing, drivers, you guys are doing a great job, but one thing you can do is when you spin around or whatever, I mean, listen, just get going.
Just either keep going or stop.
Completely
don't try
stop
to go,
and just stay there.
Because we're trying to judge, hey, is he going to take off or is he going to slow down?
Exactly.
We don't want to throw our caution too late.
And we're going to try to get better at not throwing, cautions too late, but we're also trying to help the flow of the show too. You know what I mean? So we need your help. You help us. You know what I mean? And you guys have. So I want you to continue to, and listen. If it's the second time you done spun out for that night, just spin yourself on over in the pits and just be done. But do us all a favor. Okay?
We have the 3 spin you're out. So let's not give them all
listen, there was so much crap going on in the tower. Ain't nobody knowed if anybody spun out 3 times. Okay?
Fair enough.
I'm just telling you right now.
And speaking of late cautions, and I know I'm jumping divisions here.
Yeah.
Our Crown Vic division was absolutely amazing. We had a car that took one of the tires from the infield.
Allenham, yeah.
And normally I would throw the caution to let him get it out. But the fans went freaking wild when he had that tire under his front end and just kept going with it. Yeah. I couldn't throw the caution. It was too good of a show.
I only seen that on video, but It was great. I mean, and that's part of the entertainment. Like, we wanted to bury the tires so that they didn't get moved, but at the same time, this is not destroying cars. It is, moving them around. Yes, we have to move them back, and, yes, sometimes you have to go on the track and get them and move them or whatever. But it's entertainment. We're in the entertainment business.
In all fairness, the next caution we did have, I said, driver, can you please back up and get the tire out from under your front end so we can keep going? He stopped on the front stretch, backed up. One of the officials came out. It took everything that official had to get that tire into the pits.
Well,
it
was
a
little heavy.
It was kind of comical, but I just it was a hell of a show. Yeah. I mean, the fans loved it.
Well, that's the division as far as entertainment goes. I mean, already. I mean, we've only had 2 races, and they have been the most entertaining of the night. Now, take nothing away from the Stock 4 guys and the finish that they had.
We ain't even got to that part yet.
And let's go ahead and broach that one. We disqualified, Wes Givens in the 8 car.
The second place finisher.
For his contact, post race. I'm not there to tolerate retaliation, especially after, If you guys want to go out there and spin each other every in the turns, I'm not saying that I like that, during the race, but at the same time, at least you're not, doing it under caution. Guy might be unbuckling, anything. After the race, that is not the time to settle your score.
And if he'd have just given him a little bump and went on, it wouldn't have been. But it was watching it on video, watching it real time. It seemed to be a lot more than it was when you watch it. When you go back and watch it on video, you're like, it's really not that bad. But the part I did not like, and this is the race director in me, is when he went to spin them, he kept pushing into his door. And I know those cars are supposed to be safe, but anything can happen in a moment.
100%. But anyways, so hated that happened because that was a great race. There was no need for retaliate. There was nothing to retaliate for. That was the dumbest part of it. There was nothing to retaliate
greatest
for.
Racing I've seen.
Oh my God, this guy raced me hard. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, this guy did to me what I would do to anybody else.
That's what should be going on the racetrack. You guys should be racing each other hard. But, It was good. The racing in every division was good. Crown Vics, Pro 4 race was good. I mean, Danny Henning, he's in another planet. But
he likes stinking up our shows.
Yeah. We're gonna start him up there at the fire department for the next race. Next race, we're gonna tell him drive your car up to the fire department and hopefully raceceiver works so you can hear us up there.
We'll tell you when to go.
Yeah, we'll tell you when to go.
I bet he still wins the race. He's just one of those guys that's just got it.
I know. Them people drive me crazy. Win every race. Nathan Walker. I told Nathan before the race. I said, man, we got you got to at least on one of these starts or restarts, back up a little bit, let the car by you, and then pass them back. He said, well, I passed 6 lap cars last race. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Lord have mercy. I told him that didn't count. So.
He did have his hands full last weekend, though.
He did. Hey, the last 2 races, Mike Ayers put it on him, stayed right there with him, 2 races ago. And Joey Johnson, Joey Johnson was 1 lap away from taking home the victory.
Poor Joey Johnson thought he won the race.
Yeah.
He ran 1 lap too many.
Yeah. Well, it happens. It's all good. I mean, it was a great race, great show. All those divisions, the modified race was great. Man, that modified, let's not leave out, because we haven't mentioned the battle up front there, Jake Barneycastle, Ronnie Covey, and Adam Favors. Yes. I mean, those 3 guys right there. I mean, if you just put all the other cars off the track, I mean, not saying that they shouldn't be out there, but to put them all off the track, that right there is a race in itself.
And it's so hard to watch because you're watching these guys, and I mean, they're battling first, second, third, and I mean, they're going in the turn sideways and all together, and you're like, oh man, he's gonna get him, he's gonna get. And then you have to remember that there's cars further back you have to watch too. The racing on track was absolutely on point, and I'm gonna tell you, I did not think it was gonna be. So track prep was on point this weekend.
Track prep tried some new things this week, and it was great.
No dust,
but it was I didn't think that was going to work out at all because, I mean, there was an absolute mud hole over there in turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway.
We actually had to get the modifieds to help run in the mud before they got their out laps. I'm like, can you guys just help us out? I'm not sure if they even heard me. They
definitely did not hear me.
That's why the radios. But, but the flagmans worked together with them and got them going. And they did. They ran it in as best as they could. And I mean, they just really jumped in there and did whatever it took to get going.
Yeah. Saturday was just one of those days where, the racers, really bailed us out, and we really appreciate that.
I'm looking for one of these dirt nights that, as good as it looks to the fans and the racers, it feels that good in the tower. Because it feels like every night something is chaotic and crazy and just wrong.
Yeah, it's like the tower's on fire or something, and everything else is great. Nobody even sees it.
Well, if Bo's in there, it might be on fire. I mean, he gets that tower going.
Oh, ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt about it. Too many energy drinks. Way too many.
He only had
drinks.
2. He informed me.
Yeah. Well, listen. 1 sip for him is too much. Okay, because he's already like full on crackhead. So.
Oh, he's full on when he gets there. But, as far as, the issues we had this weekend, I'm getting new surge protectors for the tower.
Yeah.
Sort of playing my power out in different areas just so, and the printer does pull more power than I thought it ever would.
Oh, sure.
Sort of have my computer and hooked to one and my, decoder to another.
Yeah.
Just to where I don't want those issues. And
putting back away from radios. Yeah.
And no putting radios on the stand at all. No putting radios. None.
Another subject, food. Whew, man.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I thought I had a food truck lined up, and it just fizzled out on me. Yeah, after 5 o'clock on Friday, and man, it was, it's a struggle. But we're hopefully, fingers crossed, our top concession will be open by the 21st. That's our hope, anyways. And if not, I've got a food truck that says they'll be there.
Lord, I hope so. The Snack Shack has been picking up the slack, but those guys have got to be tired of chips and candy bars, and the kids will never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And I try to keep different things in there every week. I've incorporated Cracker Jacks and crackers and.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of crap in there for sure.
I try to keep a variety because I know that when you're at a racetrack, you just want a snack.
Yeah,
for just want something to snack on.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't have my popcorn machine there making fresh popcorn. That would make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure why we don't have that. But
in this next race, I hope to have icy pops for the kids to be able to buy.
Yeah.
I think it's warm enough now. I probably should have had them last race, but whew.
I don't think you had anything to help the humidity. So
nope.
Have we talked about lineups?
I was hoping you'd forget the lineups.
Because holy smokes, do we suck at that.
Well, that's not something we've ever, and I do mean ever, had to deal with. The closest we've came is the Martinsville late model race when, we were just doing it
for
fun
race 22,
on race 22.
No, you're right. I said it there and I'll say it again. We suck at lineups, but we're getting it figured out.
We look like monkeys in football last Saturday. I ain't even gonna lie.
You guys need lineups to be able to be ready and to kind of help us, help you.
Langley's on the radio. Modifieds. Are you ready? Are you ready? And poor Jay Tate. Do you have our lineups?
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. And then you print out the wrong. You print out the qualifying view instead of the finishing order for the heat races. So I make up the lineup, and I don't even. I can't remember who it was that came up there and he's like, I finished second and I'm starting 7th or something. I'm like, what? So and we used the wrong stuff.
Then we realized what we did.
So we had to fix that, and I think that was part of the reason why the 32 car that Garrett Kilman left. I think he was like, man, I'm not even in the right spot here. He just said, I don't understand.
And he was really good. And I really hate. I
do too.
I apologize from the bottom of my heart. If he'd have just come up and said, and I don't know if he did or not.
No. The thing about it is, one thing that you guys, collectively racers, if there's a problem, come find me or Kim.
We're new.
We can fix it, okay?
We can fix it.
Every other official there may try. We can fix it. Always remember that. You know what I mean? Now, we can't fix everything. If you screwed something up, I can't fix it for you.
And remember, just because an official tries to fix it doesn't even mean that they've brought it to our attention.
They may not have even told us correctly, or they may not have told us at all, or they may have tried to ask and didn't know exactly how to ask
just
to make us realize that something was going on. So always, if you got something, don't be stupid. Don't act like a jackass.
Don't be scared of us. We don't bite. Just
I don't know. Hey, listen, and I got to apologize to the 77 modified over there, which he just pulled in the wrong spot. And I couldn't figure out what the crap he was doing. I thought he was a traffic director, but that was Keith Wagner. Races it with, and I apologize to him. I told him I didn't need a traffic director. He was trying to tell us about the drive shaft or something laying on the track over there, which is great. Pull up there behind the up where the officials are. Don't pull down there on the bottom, because I think you're trying to get the people across, and I don't need you to get the people across.
Reason 895 million. Langley, Austin does not need a radio.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean,
it's like he sees nothing but you give him a radio in his hand and his eyes turn red. I mean, it's the craziest thing I ever seen.
It's a terrible idea to have me on the radio, for sure. Hopefully, they will not allow me to have one this next race.
I am not allowing you to have one the next race. Bo, his first race, Langley needs the radio. I'm telling you, Bo, you don't want him to have a radio.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I will not argue that point at all. So,
payouts went better this week.
Yeah, we got them down there a little sooner, and got things. It takes a couple races before we can start to have them there, and it went a little bit. It went real good when it started raining.
Oh, nobody wanted to stand around and talk no more. They were there and gone.
That was great. Maybe we can get a little rain after every race. That way, we just get everybody through payout real quick and run on home.
Although Justin Pruitt, our wonderful Crown Vic winner, he stood there and busted my balls even in the rain. He didn't mind the rain. And Brian Chrisman, he was out in the rain working on his car. Everybody else had left the track, and he's still out there working in the pits on his car.
I'm telling you, he's going to get that thing dialed in one of these weeks. I'm telling you right now.
He's getting there.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
two of the him and his girl, I'm not sure if it's his girlfriend or his wife, but two of the nicest people you'd ever meet.
Yeah. For sure. I guess that's about everything from the last race, right?
Yep, just the lineups and the pill draws,
Pill draws. Yeah, speaking of, we are, fingers crossed, we are trying to get my race pass set up, and we're going to try to get it set up hopefully this weekend, and then we'll be ready to go next weekend. And then you guys know what to do on there. Most of you guys deal with that already. You'll be able to enter yourself into the race. Your transponder can be put in there. All that stuff can be done. You don't have to deal with us. You don't have to talk to us. You don't have to do anything. And for us, we don't have to do anything, which makes it great. Makes the pill draw on there, great.
And if for some odd reason we don't, we're planning to do the pill draw in the tower. Our gate girls really don't know what they're doing pill draw wise.
Well, they don't know anything about that.
They don't know anything about dirt. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Neither do we. So, yeah.
But I do know, what you need to do. I got down there the last race and I'm like, well, what was this guy's number? Well, he forgot to draw it. Well, no, you don't get to let one person forget.
Yeah. Which it's hard. There's a lot going on there at the gate, and maybe more than we, should be putting on the gate.
Which is why I'm saying it would be easier to just come to the tower, come to me, doing transponders anyways.
We'll make a post on Facebook and tell you whether we're on my race pass or whether you got to come to the tower or what do you got to do to get, that done.
Fingers crossed is my race pass.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be set up, ready to go, and we'll have a great understanding of that. And keep in mind, that's the holdup is us. So we gotta know what we're doing. But hopefully that seems to be very simple. I've watched some videos, you've watched some videos. Hopefully we'll be dialed in on that, and we're gonna have a good night. June 21st is going to be a good one. Got 1,000 to win. TC Construction modifieds. They were talking about it on the Backstretch podcast. I got a feeling there's going to be quite a few cars. I mean, we had a lot this past weekend there. 14
I was
15.
impressed.
And,
I mean, the modifieds really showed up.
Yeah. So potentially, have that or more, for this next race. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Should be a really good one. Jake Barneycastle's really got a grip on things at the moment, which is crazy. Got to give him a lot of credit as a driver and a team because the last race was dry. This race was super wet.
And he just seemed to...
Didn't matter.
Fall right in.
And to be honest with you, it's those three that were on it the last race and this race.
Yep.
So
Barney Castle, Covey, and Favor.
Yep. So I anticipate those three will be three of the guys to beat. But, there may be, for 1,000 to win, there may be some other people that, hey.
Maybe some dark horses coming in.
So hopefully, hopefully some of those guys, show up and give these guys a good run for their money, and somebody will take home the, the $1,000 at the end of the night. Got some bonus money up already for the late model race. The Buffalo Mountain Motorsports late models got a $200 bonus for any 602 that can win so far. Nathan Walker, 604, dominating, 3 for 3. There's another $200 up if you're on American Racer tires, because Hoosier 3 for 3 so far this season.
Now, has anybody else, like our second place finishers in the past couple late model races, have they been 602s or 604s?
Yes. I think 602's been second place every race so far.
Gotcha.
So
I know
close.
Ayers, isn't he a 602?
Yeah, so is Joey Johnson.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't remember who finished second in the first race, but maybe Dylan Watson. I'm not 100% sure who it was, but I believe all three were 602s for that second place. So they've been one spot away.
They're getting closer.
Time to get them over the hump, get them into victory lane. And you never know. Nathan Walker's got a 602. He may just put the old 602 in there and say, all right, now I'm 4 for 4, but the 602's in victory lane. So
now can he take the bonus if he puts the 602 in?
Yes, it's not.
Oh man,
it's not about beating him. Heck, he can take home $400 more if he puts on American Racers too. So if he has both, so you get 200 and 200 there.
That would not surprise me in the least little bit.
No, he's good, man. I'm gonna tell you, he's really good.
I still want to pet his dog.
Oh my God, you and dogs. I think the Stock 4s, Stock 4, the U-Car division there is going to be really good. They were really exciting this last time. I don't know for sure if either one of the 33G or the 8-car, Austin Williams or Wes Givens will be there. Natural Bridge has twins, I believe. It's what I'm hearing anyways. I don't know that for a fact. But I've been hearing they're going to have twins to try to make up for the one that rained out this past weekend. So I anticipate both of those guys could be there. So could be a whole new winner. Hermie Hicks, he's yesterday or 2 days ago on Facebook, he was retiring. Yesterday the car was fixed, and then last night it was something else wrong with it. So he's going to get himself dialed in and get back there. He won the first race, and
that guy has had the worst luck since the first race.
Oh yeah, it wasn't
He's
good.
had like the winner's curse. You don't go out there and win the first race. You don't catch the first fish.
Yep, that's it. That's the thing.
When's Nathan Walker's curse going to kick in?
I don't think he's getting one.
I don't think
he's
so
got
either.
it on. He's one of those guys. He's got it dialed in, and he's going to be hard to beat. But somebody's going to beat him. I predict this next race a 602 is going to win. I ain't saying it ain't going to be him, but I predict a 602 is going to win on June 21st. Somebody's going to take home that extra $200.
He's going to hear this podcast, and they're going to be out in the shop for the next 2 days. Got to get this 602 in.
Maybe. So, the Renegade Sportsman's back on tap for this race. Like I said, many late models on tap for this race. Crown Vics. Them Crown Vic guys have basically told me that they don't want a week off. They don't want to be off of the schedule anymore. They want to race every time.
I don't want them to have a week off. I mean, the racing is great.
Yeah, the entertainment is fantastic for sure.
I still want to know what their average speed is.
Well, you can go in on the scoring.
Well, I do know
and
that.
Look at that.
But asking the racers give you such a better story. I asked one of them, and I can't remember which guy it was. I said, "What do you think your average speed is out there racing?" He said, "Oh, about 80 mile an hour." I said, "Do what?"
Lord have mercy, they couldn't get up to 80.
One of the other guys said, "There ain't no way in hell we could go 80 mile an hour around that racetrack."
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, well that'll wind this episode 11 of the BullRing Banter podcast. We'll have another episode next week before we get going with the race next weekend. So we're not skipping a week this time. We'll have another episode. Maybe we'll get you dialed in on my race pass. Hopefully this weekend and next week.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
I plan to play with it a lot,
and we'll be ready to go for that. So. But get ready to be there for the June 21st race. July 4th, got two 1,000 to win races coming up. Stock 4, U-Cars, whatever you want to call them. They've got a 1,000 to win race. The Crown Vics have got a 1,000 to win race. Probably going to be some bonuses in some other divisions. I think that's a Friday night. Not many people are racing that night. I think
planning to do something special for the kids that night. I got a couple race teams in with me on it already. So it's going to be a good night for the kids.
Yeah, good. Bring them all out. Kids under 10 are free, so bring as many as you can. Bring the neighbors' kids. Bring your side chicks' kids. I don't care who you bring. Just bring them on out. Bring them on out to the track. Enjoy a night of racing. So, all right.
Did you just say the side chicks' kids? I can't believe you said that.
I mean, it's happening.
Bring some kids, though.
Yeah, bring them on out. Bring kids, bring adults. Bring your side chick with you. Introduce her to your wife. I don't care. Either way, all right. That'll do it for the BullRing Banter podcast for episode 11. We'll be back next week. Let you know all that we know, and that ain't usually much. So
see you next
we'll see
week.
you then.